My name is Josh Lyford. I'm a field engineer for Caminario, the world's only performance all-flash scale-out array. Today what I'm going to be demonstrating for you is some of the high availability characteristics inside the array. What will be failing are three individual components: the power supply unit, 10 gig Ethernet interconnect switch, and finally, an entire node. The first failure we're going to do is the power supply unit. I'm just going to run a script real quick to actually fail over the PSU. It takes a little time for the script to execute, but even while the script is executing, if you notice, throughput, IOPS, and latency are unaffected. Clicking the Events tab, we should see an actual event come up that's saying the PSU has failed. There it is. PSU failure. It's a hardware device failure. From a host perspective, nothing has happened. Back on the Performance tab, throughput, I/O, and latency are all at normal levels. So now I'm going to fix that PSU, running another script to get that done. A few seconds to complete that script. And again, on the Events tab, what we'll see is another event. In this case, it's actually the PSU coming back online. This simulates a failure, and again, from a host perspective, nothing has happened. But on our Events tab, we see the PSU has failed. There's the event for having it come back online. Clicking back over to the Performance tab, again, throughput, IOPS, and latency are all normal levels. The next thing we're going to do is fail a switch. These are one of the two interconnects that we have. Again, it's another script that we run. While that's running in the background, throughput, I/O, and latency, once again, are unaffected. From a host perspective, the application is still online, still processing I/O, still running. Click the Events tab, and we should see a message momentarily saying that the switch has failed. And in essence, what this script is actually doing is just rebooting the switch. So this is going to simulate a failure, so we don't really need to execute another script to bring it back online. It'll come back automatically. There's the message for the connection is down. This is the switch. Performance tab, no latency, no throughput, no I/O change. In performance, from a host perspective, everything's online. Coming back into the Events tab, we now have another I/O connectivity message saying the interconnect is okay, the switch was rebooted. That basically simulates an entire failure of a switch. The hosts didn't recognize any drop in I/O. There was no effect on the host whatsoever. The next script is actually going to simulate an entire node failing. The process is similar, using a script to actually fail the node. The events show up in the event log. Throughput, I/O, and latency from a host perspective are all normal. Clicking over to the Performance tab, what you'll see is a brief I/O interruption. However, from an application perspective and an application performance perspective, there's been no interruption. If we click the Events tab, what we see is the background processes that occurred to actually bring the node back online, which in an ordinary system, the application would not have survived these. In the Caminario system, with HA built in, everything continued as normal from an application perspective. Thank you for spending the time with us today. We hope you found this valuable. What we covered was actually three independent component failures: the PSU, the interconnect switch, and an actual node failure. Any one of these events by themselves would have been catastrophic, but if you combine them in the order that we did, from an application workload perspective, it would have been a travesty. In our case, being the only scale-out performance array on the market today that's all flash, we not only have the performance that you need for your applications, but we also have the HA components in place to sustain any kind of failure that you might incur in the data center today. Thank you for spending the time with us again. If you have any further questions, please reach out.